I was working at Sanderson's Farms. So when I walked in at 12:58, she was having sexual relationships with Aiden Holberg. And so I went to the main office the next day to sign my name off the lease.
I don't get no assistance, and it's hard I'm having to choose between food and other bills. What do I tell my girls? Like I did it, and it was just they had worked with me before, but all of a sudden they were just like, no, we're not accepting your payments, and I had it.
This case was filed against you on the complaint based on of non-payment of rent. And so this pertains to the address at Waco 76704. With that being said, Ms. Porter, you can proceed with the case against Mr. Wren and Ms. Sherman.
Okay, so we have Mr. Wren and Savannah Sherman. We're filing for, they have back rent of $1,001. They moved in May 23rd, and I reached out several times. I always try and work with them first before going to the eviction process. I have not personally spoken with Mr. Wren, but I did reach out several times via email to both of them for payment.
Okay. The notice to vacate, how was it delivered to the defendant? When was it delivered and who delivered it?
It was to this on the 6th of October to the inside of the dwelling, and I did.
Okay. And that was that a 3-day notice to vacate?
Correct.
All right. You provided me with a copy of the notice to vacate. It is dated October 6th and it's signed by you. All right. Let's take a look at, you also provided me with the lease. This does pertain to the address at 1507 Spring Street, unit number 4, -32. I guess 32 is how y'all do it. And looks like it's agreed upon by both parties that the monthly rent is $1,001. And you're seeking the back rent for the month of October. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. All righty. And you also provided me with a ledger. This ledger goes back a couple of months starting May of 2025. And based on this right here, the last time the defendant made a payment was in September, and that was $1,244. That put him at a zero balance. And based on what you're telling me today, he has not made any payments for the month of October, and now we're into November. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. All right. Let me hear from the defendant, and then we'll go from there. Mr. Wren, here's your opportunity to defend yourself based on the complaint that was filed against you and Ms. Sherman. Go ahead.
So in July, I left because Savannah had a ex-boyfriend from high school enter the home. I was working at Sanderson's Farms. So when I walked in at 12:58, she was having sexual relationships with Aiden Holberg. And so I went to the main office the next day to sign my name off the lease. And so that same day I left and took all my stuff back to Dawson where I live. And so they also signed those papers and everything. And
Mr. Wren, you said you have documentation showing that you were able to remove yourself from the lease?
I don't have them because I was upset that I just got cheated on and got used for not only my money but my kind heart, because of the fact that she was dealing with a CPS case, and CPS told us that the baby needs a stable home and that the kid needs his own room. The house that I was living in Dawson, which was my mother's place, we didn't have an open room and the place was falling apart. So I went out trying to be a man for her and provide a home for this child. She used me to get to that point and then brought Aiden into the apartment and all that.
So did you speak with someone in management afterwards in regards to the situation? And did someone agree to release you from liabilities in regards to this lease based on everything that just occurred?
Yes, I spoke with someone named Amanda that was up in the front office. We signed papers, and she said I was off the lease. And when I called, when I called a few days ago to ask them, hey, is that paper still in the folders? If they could email it to me, they said that Aiden and Savannah did not give their pay stubs to get me off the lease. So I was like, well, I've been gone for 5 months, and they made that one payment in September without me. And I don't know why I'm still getting charged for rent if I've been gone for 5 months and they made that one payment without me.
So based on what I'm hearing, you were under the impression that you were released from the liabilities of the lease after you spoke with them, and after you were notified of the hearing, that's when you called the office to get a confirmation of what you initially thought had taken place.
Yes, sir.
Am I right on that? So how did you become aware of this hearing? Tell me a little bit more about that.
So I was helping a friend out move from Hillsboro all the way to Killeen, and she ended up contacting me through Instagram and asked me, hey, you got some papers at the apartment, go in there and go grab them. I was like, okay, I don't have a key because I already turned mine in when I left 5 months ago. So I show up and I'm knocking on the door. I called her and I said, hey, I'm at the apartment. Why? I'm at the door. She's like, oh, the keys are in the shoe that's outside. Just walk in, grab the papers. They're on the countertop. I was like, okay. So I get the keys, I open it, and the whole place is a mess. So I didn't touch anything, grab my papers that I have right here and locked the door. And I took a video of the place because how bad it looked to prove that I didn't do nothing of any of this or anything like that so that she couldn't say I did something. And then I shut the door, locked it, put the keys in the mailbox, and then I went home.
All right. So let me go back to the plaintiff, Ms. Porter. Um, just is there anything you can counter in regards to what Mr. Wren just said?
So initially he did go in, he spoke with Amanda. In the process of him being removed, they have to qualify, well, she has to qualify whoever's going to own the lease without him, without his income. But because they never finished the process, he never came off. So they would have had to sign a new lease without him. It never came because they never finished the process. But anytime that we send out messages or email or call, we call everyone that's on the lease. And I have been calling his number, emailing him the same as Samantha. Actually, him and Samantha has the same phone number on the account, but they have different emails. So when I send out emails to her about rent, it goes to him as well because technically he's still on the lease contract and they never finished the process to have him removed.
You understand that situation, Mr. Wren? It's not that you were in intentionally violation of the lease. It's the fact that your income, you started the process, and even though things happen, you do have to have someone else sign on to the lease with their income. That's how they lock you in. I'm just gonna be honest with you. It's a lease, so you're locked in, and the only way you get out is if they get you out or your lease expires, unless you get someone else to take over that lease. That's kind of how it goes, because they, what I'm saying, it's a contract. So again, it's not that you didn't do anything. Not that you intentionally did anything wrong. It's the fact that what you're telling me, she did not fulfill the obligations of continuing to pay the lease, pay the rent while you left. Right. So here's the thing. She didn't pay rent, or y'all didn't pay the rent for October. So here's a couple of things that can happen. especially in your case. If you want to, if you wanted for, make sure that you're completely done with this, I strongly encourage you to do one thing. You need to put in writing that you've given her rights to the property, and whatever keys that you had, you need to give it to Miss Porter. Okay. Or acknowledge that you don't have any keys to the property, period. But until then, it's going to be, subject to you having your stuff removed out of the house, even though you don't stay there.
Okay.
That's kind of how the process goes. I can assume you're not there right now, but only thing I can tell you to do right now is make sure that you provide Ms. Porter, and she can walk through with you after today's hearing. Just get with her as to what steps you can take to avoid the next step on your end. But here's the bad part about it. There's going to be a judgment against you and Ms. Sherman. Sad, but it's going to be a judgment. It's just going to be for back rent. Now, as long as this judgment remains valid, it may affect you with your rental history. So it's going to be $1,000, $1,001 that you're going to owe them plus court costs. Once that's paid, then you're clear, free and through, and you'll be free and clear from her too. But until you or Ms. Sherman pay this amount, you both are going to be subject to additional interest. All right.
All righty.
Okay. Again, I think it's unfortunate. I would say. Now, the other thing is, I got to tell you, if you feel like you shouldn't have this judgment placed against you, you can appeal it. Appealing means that you disagree with my decision and that you feel like you should not have this judgment placed against you. You have 6 days from today's date to appeal my decision. So you either appeal it or you give up your rights to the property. That's kind of how it goes, especially in your situation. I'm just gonna be honest with you. So you can either appeal it or give it Ms. Porter on how you can just close your end out on your end. Okay.
Yes, sir.
You have any questions, Mr. Wren?
Not really. Besides the fact that, like, I done dropped the keys off at the mailbox there, so I don't have no personal stuff over there anymore. So
Get your documentation in writing then.
okay.
Figure out what type of documentation you need to get from Ms. Porter to kind of, ease some of this stuff that's going on between you and the apartment complex. And then after that, then you should be good to go. But just get with Ms. Porter after today, and she'll kind of advise you on what steps you need to take before they have to take the next legal action against y'all. All right?
And if you have another phone number, the only phone number I have on the account is the one that you both use. But if you want to send an email with the up-to-date phone number, I can definitely give you a call after this.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Mr. Wren, good luck to you. All right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Ms. Robinson, if I can get you to go ahead and unmute. Mr. Wren, you can excuse yourself if you like. Okay. Ms. Robinson, all right. You've already been sworn in, Ms. Robinson. And what's going to happen next is you might have overheard, but Ms. Porter is going to speak first, and then afterwards I'll give you the opportunity to defend yourself. With that being said, Ms. Porter, you can present the case against the defendant.
Okay, we have Bernadette Robinson. She's in apartment 36. We're just going for the unpaid rent, which was 1036. Again, I always try to give everybody a chance to work with everybody. We just didn't get any payment in, so we're just moving forward with the process.
Okay, notice to vacate. How was it delivered to the tenant? When was it delivered, and who delivered it?
On the 6th, inside of the dwelling, myself.
3-day notice to vacate?
Yes.
Provided me with a copy of the notice to vacate. It is dated October 6th, signed by you. You also provided me with the ledger. According to this right here, the last time the defendant made a payment was on September 26th of $242.04. That was the last payment. That put her at a zero balance, and what you're swearing to me under oath is that she did not pay her rent for October. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay. I also have a lease between you and the defendant. It's initiated on around July 1st, 2025. According to the terms of this lease, the tenant agreed to pay $1,036 per month. It is electronically signed by both parties. All right. Anything else before I move on to the defendant?
No, sir.
All right, Ms. Robinson, here's your opportunity to defend yourself. Go ahead.
I don't have any words to say.
Okay. Are you still staying there at the unit?
Yes, I'm getting ready to move out though.
When you say getting ready, talk to me a little bit more about that.
I'm in the process of packing now.
Okay. You're packing up now. Have you talked to Ms. Porter?
No, sir.
Okay. Do you have a good relationship with Ms. Porter?
Um, Not really, somewhat.
Because she don't answer the phone for me, and she will not respond to me, no
Okay.
matter how much I try to help her.
All right. So here's the thing. I asked that question because uh, if there is some type of legitimate or communication between you and the landlord, I think that will be good moving forward, especially if you're in the process of moving out. You make sure you communicate everything that you're doing from this point on to Ms. Porter, and so
Okay.
y'all be able to work things out between now and the next couple of days. Uh,
Okay.
So, all right, okay. So, with that being said, there's going to be a judgment against you of
Okay.
back rent for the month of October, and until you pay it off, it's going to be remain valid. It's going to be interest that accrues on this judgment. So, you want to make sure that you get it taken care of because I don't want this to jeopardize not only your future rental relationship, but I think one day you're going to eventually want to buy a house, and you don't want
Okay.
this to affect you as well. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, Miss Robinson. You take care of yourself
You
and be
too.
careful. All right. You may be excused. All right. All right. So we're on to you, the one I was having technical difficulties with, Miss Montemayor. All right. Can I get you to unmute your microphone now, Miss Montemayor? Let's try it.
We have Ms. Montemayor in apartment 144. We're suing for the past due rent 1187. And we had it inside of the dwelling on the 3-day notice, I'm sorry, inside of the dwelling on the 6th of October. But we're just looking to, again, like everyone else, I always try and work with everyone, but we just hadn't received any payments, so we want to move forward with the eviction process.
Okay. And looking through, you said you posted on the inside of the door there was a notice to vacate. And you provided me with a lease, right? According to the terms of the lease, the monthly rent is $11.87. You also provided me with a copy of notice to vacate. Does reference the unit in question, number 144, and a tenant ledger, which based on this, the last payment you received was on September 25th, and that brought out a zero balance, and you're stating that she has not paid the rent for October. Okay. All right. So let's move on to Ms. Montemayor. Ms. Montemayor, you've heard the case against you so far. Here's your opportunity to defend yourself.
Yes, I had got sick during that month. They have worked with me previously, and they had been really good. And so being a single mom, I kind of lapsed when I got the flu, and so I took a whole week off of work because I couldn't work. However, I ended up when I got the eviction papers, I went ahead and I pulled the money out of my 401k to make the whole payment. It was going to be, I want to say, close to $1,700. I go in and I asked Dee, hey, I'm fixing to have the full amount. Can I pay it? And they told me I couldn't pay it. They cut off my payment method, and she told me basically once I didn't make payments, basically after the 8th, they cut off all my ways to make a payment. And then when I went in to make the payment, they told me that I could no longer make the payment. I did try. And I felt like they were working with me up until the point where maintenance kept going into my apartment unannounced. And so I sent them an email stating that I didn't want this maintenance man coming in unannounced because he had put that a rod was broken on my closet, but it wasn't broken. And so that day, my daughter was sick. And so I sent the email saying, hey, this rod is not broken. And my 14-year-old daughter, she's at home, she's sick, and I don't want no man coming in there. And I feel like after I sent that email, they weren't trying to work with me. The payment was literally due on the 4th, And by the 8th, I had, like, by the 6th, I received that notice. And as you can see, it's November 5th, and I know it takes several weeks to get this stuff processed to be evicted. So they did it immediately. Like, they didn't even work with me. And then I have an email stating that I needed to pay it by 2 o'clock that day, and I was at work. And so there was just no way to meet it. And like I said, I did offer to pay the full amount, but they denied my payment.
What, so when did you attempt to pay your rent again? What day? On the 8th?
I I went no. I went in there, like I said, when I got the eviction notice, it was on the 21st of October. And that's when I got the papers. And like I said, it takes a few weeks for them to process it. So I know they did it immediately. And so I reached out to my 401k, I want to say on the 24th, and they told me that I could receive the funds. I received the funds on the 28th, and I went in there and I told them I pulled out of my 401k to pay this. But she denied me my payment. She told me no, and I told her, okay, well, let me speak to the one above you, because I could see that she wasn't trying to help me no more. And I get it. I understand that's her job. It's not anything personal, but I had the money to pay it, sir, and I
Okay.
was just denied.
So you didn't get your eviction notice on the 22nd, 26th. Was that what the constables gave you? Is that what you're considering the eviction
Yes,
notice?
I got the eviction. Well, I had got the 3-day one probably on the 6th. I got the 3-day notice from them on the 6th, and then the 21st is when the constable came and dropped it off. And like I said, I couldn't pull out any money from my 401k because I had the flu from the 10th all the way to the 17th. I was just ill, and I didn't work that whole week. And so, like I said, the papers came in on the 21st. My check came in on the 28th, and I went into the office trying to make payment because I'm a single mom. I don't have nowhere to take my girls. I felt like they didn't even work with me. I felt like they've worked with me before, but this month they didn't, and I feel like it wasn't part of me telling them that I didn't want the maintenance man keep coming into my unit unannounced. And I
When
did
did,
send that on email. But yes, sir.
when did you submit that request uh for maintenance not coming into your home? What
Not
day?
to. Okay. Let me let me look at my email. See, this was enclave sent to, I guess it was the other email. I don't have it on here. But I know that I did make it. I just have to kind of go through it, and I kind of don't have the time, but I did submit that.
Okay.
Let me see if I can't find it. Okay, that's not there. Yeah, no, and I'm not even sure if it's this email that I used.
Okay. So here's the thing. I know you're at work. You
Mhm.
know, I want to, try to make sure that you get what you do what you need to do because I assume you're on break.
Uh-huh.
So here's the thing. Um, I heard several things in regards to your defense, and just want to make sure I get a good clarification. You did receive the notice to vacate on October 6th. You received the constable's citation and hearing letter on the 26th of October. You stated
No, the
that
21st of October.
the
I'm
21st
sorry,
of
the
October.
21st of October.
21st
Yes,
of
is when
October.
I got the
Okay.
papers.
And then
Yes.
afterwards you went and pulled money from your 401k, but you wasn't able to get those funds until the 28th, and you attempted to pay everything on the 28th, but they refused your payment. Um,
Yes.
and you're stating that you believe that they are refusing your payment now because you made a request uh, about maintenance entering your home without you being
Yes.
present. So, okay. All right. Um, During the time frame between anytime this month Do
Mhm.
you have any documentation from between you and the apartment complex, whereas they informed you that they would accept your money prior to the hearing?
No, I was when I contacted them because I wanted to make I was willing to just make partial payments, you know, because like that's what I did sometimes because like it's hard for me to I don't get no assistance, you know, and it's hard for I'm having to choose between food and other bills. And so I did my best, and when they denied me to pay it, like what do I tell my girls, you know? Like I did it. And it was just they had worked with me before. But all of a sudden they were just like, "No, we're not accepting your payments." And I had it. So it was just it just caught me off guard.
Gotcha. Okay. So I heard everything that you said. And
Yeah.
one thing about being a judge, I have to listen to the facts of the case and I have to rule with the law, not
Okay.
my I want to make sure that I'm clear. I
Yes.
have to rule based on the law and not my heart. I want to say that.
Yes.
If
Okay.
I make decisions with my heart, best believe it would be a lot of pissed off landlords. Okay?
Yes. I
I
would
want to make
say
sure.
that email because I just found it was I sent it on September 30th. And up until then, they were working with me, sir.
So
Hello?
as far as us not, again, I've worked with her since the moment she moved in, the day of move in. Eviction was already filed weeks before when you tried to come in and make payment. That's why we didn't accept payment because the eviction process was already filed.
Okay.
They literally waited like 3 days. 3 days.
All right. So this is where we are. As I stated before, I I can't I can't rule based on my heart. I have to rule
No, I
based
get
on.
it.
So this is
The
what the
law.
law
Yes.
states. This is what the law states. The law states that if a landlord provides me with certain things as far as proof, then I should rule in their favor. And this is what things I look
Mhm.
for and many other judges have to look for. One, did the defendant or the tenant in this case default in the terms of the lease? And that means that did the plaintiff prove that the defendant was delinquent in back rent? That's one.
Mhm.
The second thing is, did
Okay.
the plaintiff or the landlord give the tenant a 3-day or a notice to vacate that, that is, or did they give the tenant a notice to vacate? Whether or not it's a 3-day, 24-hour, 30-day, whatever.
Yes.
Did the
Uh huh.
plaintiff give the defendant a notice to vacate? That's two. And the third
Uh huh.
element is, did they comply with all of the other laws of this state and or procedures as it pertains to evictions? And so in this
Mhm.
particular case, I heard you. I heard you. And when
I
it
know.
comes to the
I know it's coming.
when it
Mm.
comes to the retaliation, I think you were leading to retaliation. When it comes to that, that I did weigh heavily, but I just didn't have enough proof to show that they were actually retaliating against you for your
Yeah.
request of not having the landlord come into the property. So here's the thing, Ms. Montemayor. You're going to have the right to appeal my decision. Appealing my decision means that you feel like they should not have given you a notice to vacate, that they should not have taken you to court at all. You have so
No,
many
I'm
days.
not saying that. Yeah.
Well,
I know the law, and I know that they're doing what they got to do. I'm not saying that they're wrong. All I'm saying is like I tried to pay it, sir, and
oh
I
yes.
do have my email to tell them not to come in my apartment. Like I said, I just pulled it up, and she worked with me up until that point.
So
Like I
so
said,
here,
there's nothing I can do.
no, I hear you, but so here's the thing. If you would have attempted to pay your rent on or before the due date, they have
Mhm.
to accept it. But here's the state of Texas, and this is why I encourage people to be more knowledgeable about politics. And I'm just gonna be honest. I'm not saying
Mhm.
no parties, but just politics. State of Texas has a law right now in place that all a landlord has to do is give you a 3-day notice to move out. He or she does not
Mhm.
have to give you a 3-day notice to pay your rent or move out. That's the law as it stands right now. Now it's going to change, but it's not going to change until January 2026. But as it stands right now, they only have to give you 3 days to move out. And your notice to vacate does not give you the opportunity to pay your rent. It just says, we want you out and you got to go. And that's how
Mhm.
it's been in the state of Texas for all of these years. I don't like it. I don't agree with it, but it is the law. And as long as they give you
Yes.
that notice to vacate and you don't move out, then they can file suit against you in court. Now, again, come January 2026, that's going to change and it's going to give you a little more protections as a tenant. But as it stands right now,
Mhm.
they only have to give you 3 days to get out of the property. And I don't agree with it, not one bit. Okay.
So
Now
I
with
got to
that,
be out in 3 days.
no ma'am. You have 6 days from today's date. You have 6 days from
Okay,
today's
is there any
date.
way y'all can extend that? Is there any way y'all can extend that? Like, I haven't even found a place yet.
It's Montemayor again. I don't make
Like,
the laws of this state. I'm sorry, sad to tell you, I don't make the laws. The people that make the laws are the ones down there in Austin making decisions that affect you and I every day. All right. So I don't make these laws, they do. And legally, you only have 6 days from today's date to appeal. Appealing means you disagree. And if you appeal it, I send it to the higher court, or they'll take the next legal actions. If you don't appeal this case and you're still staying there after 6 days, then they're going to take the next legal action, which is have the constable come back over there and act as security, and they're going to take all of your stuff and put it outside. That's
okay.
that's the law as it
So
stands
is
right now.
that the 6 days? Does it start today or from tomorrow? From today?
Start
So
starts
that
tomorrow.
gives me. Is this business days
You
or
can
from?
you're counting weekends and holidays starting tomorrow. 6 days.
Okay.
So you have 6 days to appeal, and if you don't appeal and you're still staying there after that 6 day, then more than likely the constable going to serve you with a notice, letting you know that you got 24 hours to move out. And if you don't act on that, they're going to be back over there to act as security, and that's where the maintenance personnel will get all up in your business. I'm just going to put it to you like that. Okay.
Okay, so if I file an appeal, it'll at least buy me a few extra days to find something, cause like I'm not
Well,
off until Monday
the the
to
the
even
only thing I,
find anything.
the only thing I can tell you, Ms. Montemayor, if you have questions about appealing the case, you need to call Lone Star Legal Aid. That's the only thing I can tell you. Call Lone Star Legal Aid. They can advise you about the appeals process and what it takes, on what how it can benefit you in this particular case. Okay, you need to call them. They can help you. It's free legal help.
Long Star what?
Lone Star Legal Aid.
Okay.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right. Good luck to you, Miss Montemayor.
All right. God bless. Bye.